Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Happy New Year, Feliz Año, Buon Anno Novo, Akemashito gozaimasu, Shinnin Kwaila, Chukmuk Namui. Anyways, I hope you had a great time in the holiday season, and maybe for some of you, you're going to start the year thinking, okay, which test am I going to do? Am I going to take IELTS or am I going to take PTE? And if this is you, I hope that this video helps you, because I'm going to tell you which one I would personally take and which one I recommend for certain individuals. Let's get started. If you don't have time to watch the full video and you just want a quick answer, let me just tell you that if you are aiming for a high score, when I say a high score, let's say a 7.5 or an 8 on each band, it may be better to take PTE over IELTS. Stay for the rest of the video and then I'll tell you why. Okay, so now let's get into each section, listening, speaking, reading and writing, and discuss which one is easier on which exam. When we look at PTE, I would say that speaking and writing are the sections where we have a higher chance of getting a higher score. When it comes to the speaking section, on the IELTS exam we have an interview. And many times people get very nervous when it comes to the interview for the speaking section. And the other thing is that this interview is somewhat unexpected. You could get a topic that you haven't heard. But in terms of PTE, yes, you have this element of surprise, because you're going to get an image, you're going to get a text that doesn't maybe make much sense, or something that you haven't seen before. It is for a shorter time. If, for example, on the IELTS test, on the interview, you get on the task 2, where you have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes about a topic that you have never seen before, or you just are blank out. What's going to happen is you will not probably speak as you normally would, and this will obviously affect your score. I think the other thing is the examiner. Sometimes the examiner can make it more challenging, or let's say less challenging. This is something that happened to me when I was doing my driving test. I remember when I was doing my driving test, I had to do it a few times, and the first time I did the driving test, my instructor was extremely serious. Okay, turn left, turn right, do this, do that. But then I had another instructor that was more like, on the next traffic light, please turn left. After the next one, please turn right. So obviously, that just the tone of voice made a big difference in my whole driving test. Maybe the same could happen with your IELTS exam. Maybe you have an examiner that is a little bit more serious, and this could affect your interview, or this could affect your response. Now let's look at writing. Writing, it's a tricky one, because it's in some areas it's a bit more challenging than the IELTS, because we have less time. On IELTS we have 40 minutes, but on PTE we have 20 minutes for the essay, and then we have got the summary that goes for 10 minutes. I think there is a chance that we can get a better score on a good essay on PTE, just because this is assessed by a computer. You will probably get or hit most of the marks and get a higher score. And I would say IELTS is a little bit more specific, and you just need to be a bit more mindful as to how you should approach that test. For both we need a mix of vocabulary and grammatical structures, but I feel that IELTS is just a little bit more strict. It seems to be more challenging to get a 7.5 or an 8 on IELTS writing than on PTE. So PTE wins if you are trying to get a high score on speaking and writing. Now let's look at listening and reading. I think that IELTS is the king here, because IELTS has 40 questions for each of these. And it is usually a mix of, let's say, elementary, intermediate and advanced questions. And then from this you get your band score. Now, when you look at PTE, we have not just reading and not just listening. For example, when we have the listening section, we also have to write a summary. This is another interesting bit of the PTE, that some of the bands are connected. But if your writing is not that strong, you're gonna have a tougher time getting a high score on the listening on PTE. And on the other hand, IELTS has, let's say, a more basic approach. And what I mean by this is that we have less question types. On PTE, we have many different types of questions, and for many test takers, this makes it a bit more challenging, and also some of these are testing your grammar, and it's not just comprehension on the text and other things that make PTE on these two sections a little bit more challenging. So, if you've got no problem with speaking and writing on IELTS, and you just need a higher score on listening and reading, stay with IELTS. You may be thinking, okay, Emilio, so which one would you do? While I recommend both exams, if I had to do the test again, remember, everyone is a bit different, and this advice may or may not work for you, but if I had to do the test again, I would probably go with PTE. I'm a bit biased with PTE because I had already obtained a high score on PTE. I also obtained a good score on IELTS, but I got a better one on PTE. I'm thinking that I'm gonna get the highest score possible. And like I said, I don't want to sound lazy, but it is more likely to get a higher score on PTE than on IELTS. For migration purposes, let's say applying for a visa, maybe even applying for a course, if you need an 8 or the equivalent of an 8 on IELTS and you can use the other exam, go for it. Maybe if you need a skills assessment or you've got a special requirement and you need to get the 8 on IELTS only, then look, good luck, study hard, and just stay with IELTS. If you've got any questions about the exams, please let me know. And if you watch the video until the end, please give it a like if you got value, and I wish that you get the score that you need this 2022. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.